Chrome experiences a nightmare of his childhood sweetheart, Ellie, being killed by horrific monsters. Afterwards, he sees visions of his hometown being pillaged and burned to the ground. These memories appear to be the memories of a stranger, and yet he is in great pain. Chrome wakes up with a jolt in a familiar yet unfamiliar room. Chrome has no idea what happened, and he doesn't seem to know who he is or where he came from. All he can do now is figure it out. Chrome gets out of bed and looks at his face in the mirror, and he sees tears streaming down his face. He does not know why. He feels like he should remember something, but he doesn't know what. It's like a sneeze that never comes. He hears footsteps approaching, and a young girl named Ellie wishes him a happy 16th birthday. Chrome doesn't react at all, confusing Ellie. When she realizes that Chrome is crying, she becomes greatly concerned. She asks him if he is okay or if he's had a bad dream, and Chrome struggles to make heads or tails of the situation. Slowly and surely, his memories come back to him. He recognizes the girl. She is Ellie, his childhood friend, and the heroine. She should have died when they were kids. All the pieces fall into place. Chrome finally remembers. He went back in time, from 100 years in the future. He knows who he is. He is the 21st Sage Chrome Chronogate, the one and only user of time magic. His name is as subtle as Remus Lupin. Chrome is hailed as the strongest magician in the world, so much so that he is even called a monster. Yet for all his vaunted strength, he was unable to save those he loved the most. By the time he became the strongest, there was nothing to save. All the people he cared about and all the places he loved have ceased to exist. Mourning that he didn't have enough time, Chrome used his newfound power to give himself a second chance. There is no god up here but him. Back in the past, Chrome shakes Ellie and asks her what date it is. She replies that it is currently the year 1200, the 10th of April. Chrome laughs. He's done it. He grabs Ellie and swings her around. His time leap is a resounding success. Ellie doesn't get what's happening, and she's getting motion sickness. Chrome makes the most of his new life right from the get-go, and he gets his fill of Ellie by hugging her as tight as he can. Ellie still doesn't understand what's going on, but it's clear that Chrome is happy to see her. It might even be an understatement. She's still concerned about his anguished face from earlier, but she allows it to slide for now. Chrome has successfully made it back into the past as a different person. This time, he'll make things right. Today is the turning point. Ellie is flustered around Chrome, whom she says seems strangely more mature and adult-like. He isn't even referencing a vine every 5 seconds anymore. Truthfully, she likes it. He always seems so blue to her, and seeing him laugh and act cheerful earlier made her happy too. Chrome smiles, and he promises to smile more. Ellie puffs up her cheeks and calls him weird. She suddenly remembers that they still have to eat breakfast, and she tries to match Chrome's mature energy by speaking in a more polite and formal tone. Chrome is hit by a wave of nostalgia. This was the house he lived in all those years ago. Before Chrome lived at this house, he was the youngest son of the House of Belmond. But because of his inability to use magic, he was abused and chased out of his house. With nowhere to call home, Chrome was forced to live on the streets, making ends meet by scavenging. The person who saved him at his darkest hour was Ellie. The rest, as they say, is history. When Chrome heads downstairs, he reunites with Ellie's parents, Sirius and Rihanna. Rihanna and Ellie wish him a happy birthday, while Sirius walks over and pats him on the head. What a journey it's been! Chrome starts welling up with tears. It's just a birthday, but it's a birthday that he'd sorely missed. He's back in simpler times. As the family starts preparing breakfast, Ellie tells Chrome to remain in his seat, but he insists on helping. He playfully ruffles her hair, saying that it'd be hard for her to do it all by herself, but Ellie says she can at least carry the plates. As Chrome sits back down, he gets an intense feeling of déjà vu. Ellie trips, just as she had in the past. Chrome isn't the same powerless boy he once was. He can influence the outcome. Using a haste spell and while playing Sweet Dreams on his Walkman, he catches Ellie before she can fall down. After making sure she's been caught, Chrome resumes time at normal speed. Ellie is in Chrome's arms, even though, from her point of view, Chrome should have still been sitting on the table. Ellie asks him how he was able to do that, but Chrome avoids the question. What's important to him is that she's safe, and that he can still use the time magic that made him famous in his own time. Sirius is especially impressed with Chrome's movements, remarking that not even many courtly knights could replicate the same feat he just did. The only way his movements could be possible is if he could somehow use strengthening magic. Chrome, unable to brush off the subject, decides to claim that he was somehow able to use strengthening magic seemingly overnight. Chrome's foster family is overjoyed by this news, so much so that Sirius embraces him. Now it's time to eat. They call Chrome to the table, and they eat as a family. In the year 1200 of the goddess calendar, on the 10th of April, Chrome was unable to protect anything. The calamity that unfolds that evening will take everything away from him. Chrome doesn't want to see that sight again. That's why he overcame 100 years. This time, he will protect these happy times, and he won't let anyone stop him. Chrome helps Ellie with the chores right after breakfast, deciding that it is best to treat the day like any other day. Chrome volunteers to do the laundry, insisting that Rena go about her other chores instead. Chrome catches her staring and asks her if anything's wrong, and she replies that he seems strangely mature. She won't complain about help though, so she lets him do the laundry. Now that Chrome is alone, he focuses on his body to sense how much magic he has in the current era. Chrome's magic circuits have changed somewhat, but it does not affect his spellcasting. When he was a child, his magic circuits were contorted, preventing him from using magic. However, as he grew older, he became able to use a certain type of magic, a magic once thought to be a myth. Endless time loop. After Chrome finishes optimizing his magic flow, he gets back to work. Having time magic has its perks. Chrome uses his magic to regress a shirt back to its brand new state, effectively cleaning it. His condition is good, and he feels no side effects. His magic is in top form. Chrome decides to clean his clothes too, so he removes his shirt. He admires his own muscular reflection in a mirror, having retained his physique from his day's training as a knight in the future. Ellie returns just in time to see him flexing in front of the window, and she rushes behind a tree to avoid looking at the goods. Chrome asks her if she's embarrassed, since he doesn't really find this something to be embarrassed about. They were still taking baths together until recently. With all the housework done, Chrome prepares to head out to do some training. Since he is still technically a live-in disciple, doing chores is the least he could do. Training with Sirius, on the other hand, is part of his daily routine. Ellie runs up to Chrome and shows off her apron. She boasts that she's planning a surprise feast for him when he comes back, but he points out that by telling him, it is no longer a surprise. Chrome heads out. In his previous life, by the time he returned home, the house would already have been razed to the ground, crushed by the great calamity. He won't let that happen again. With time magic, he might even be able to send the calamity back in time. Chrome senses an enemy attack heading his way, and he barely manages to dodge it. It turns out that it was just Sirius who attacked because he sensed a different presence than usual. Sirius helps Chrome up, who is relatively unharmed, but the same can't be said for the house's flower beds. Sirius fears that Ellie is going to yell at him. Sirius is known as the Sword Master, who, despite his harmless appearance, turns into a monster once he wields a blade. Chrome almost finds it nostalgic. Sirius begins the lesson a little earlier than usual, and he asks Chrome to start by doing the usual. Chrome stands before the training dummy, curious to see what he can do with his current body and experience. Chrome lunges forward, unsheathing his blade almost faster than the eye can see. He performs a series of quick slashes, and the poor training dummy buckles under his onslaught. Chrome's condition is good. He can move faster than expected. For the finishing blow, Chrome practically rips the training dummy apart. Sirius doesn't exactly know how to put it, but Chrome's fighting style was definitely different from what he's usually seen. There are no more wasted movements in Chrome's stance, and his core is stable. There's no better way to put it. Chrome's swordsmanship was beautiful. Out of curiosity, Sirius asks him what kind of training he did, since he finds it unlikely that Chrome just blossomed into a trained warrior overnight. Judging from what he's seen, it's almost as if Chrome has been fighting for 100 years straight. Not long after, Labrys Scarlet, the young lady of the Ducal House Scarlet, one of the 4 great houses of Historia Kingdom, arrives for her morning lessons. She's also one of his childhood friends, but there's something else about her that makes her stand out. In a flashback, a young Chrome, Ellie, and Labrys discuss what to do for the day. Labrys suggests that they all head to the lake, so they all race each other there. Ellie arrives at the site first, and Chrome follows not long after. However, the unathletic Labrys trips right before the finish line. Though Labrys started off as a talentless, clumsy child who was hopelessly attached to her 2 friends, she had big dreams of becoming a court knight. The moment she entered the proper knight's training course, her talent quickly bloomed, leaving behind Chrome and Ellie in the dust. With her newfound talent so apparent, she eventually became an estranged friend to Chrome and Ellie. Labrys catches Chrome staring at her, and she asks him not to infect him with his idiocy. However, Chrome hasn't seen Labrys in nearly a century, and he reacts as you'd expect. He runs up to Labrys and lifts her into the air, overjoyed that she is still alive. Labrys knees him in the face and hops back down. Chrome forgot that she still hates him during this time period. Labrys walks off in a huff, and Sirius asks them if they're both ready for today's training session. He toys with the idea of them sparring with one another, but Labris refuses. She doesn't want to be paired up with Chrome, no matter the context. She doesn't even want her sword to touch his, believing that their levels are so far apart that it wouldn't even count as training. Sirius, having seen for himself Chrome's skills, remarks that Chrome might be even stronger than her right now. Labris believes that he must be joking. There's no way a no-magic, maidenless, bald, L+ ratio guy like Chrome could ever beat her in a fight. She finds it laughable that he's still clinging onto his dreams to be a hero when his combat skills are that of a child's. When Chrome insists that he has his reasons for still becoming a hero, Labris begrudgingly agrees to the sparring session. However, only on the condition that if Chrome loses, he is to never use a sword again. Chrome likes those odds. Labris, surprised that Chrome agreed so readily, recognizes that he may have gotten stronger just a little bit. Chrome sets his own condition. If he wins, Labris should become friends with him and Ellie again. The reason behind it is pure and simple. He just wants to be friends. Labris lost her life not long after Chrome's foster family passed away, so he wants to hold her tight. Labris draws her sword and prepares to duel Chrome. He always regretted not being able to make amends in the end. Chrome knows that it won't be easy going back to the way things were, but he can still try. He'll ensure that the future wherein he kills her will never come to pass. The moment Sirius signals for them to start, Chrome thrusts his blade toward Labris's throat before she even gets the chance to raise her sword. Labris asks him how he was able to do that, but a magician never reveals his secrets. With this, it's Chrome's win. Labris readily accepts defeat. She'd never do something like that. She boosts all her physical stats and attacks Chrome. He wasn't expecting that, and he has little time to react. However, Chrome's battle-hardened instincts take over, and he parries Labris' attacks with such ferocity that it causes Labris to fall to her knees in shock. Chrome hurries over to make sure Labris is okay, and she asks him if he's just been pretending to be a powerless dropout this entire time. Labris grows bitter and angry. If Chrome was this strong the whole time, then why didn't he accompany her? This sudden realization hits Chrome like a ton of bricks, and he deserves it. Labris was always a lonely girl, so when the only two people she was attached to were no longer there, she became resentful. Chrome helps her up, telling her that, while hard to believe, he was weak up until recently, but he won't run away anymore. Labris admits defeat, for real this time. She apologizes for launching that sucker punch earlier, and Chrome forgives her for it. He knows that deep down, she's a kind girl, if a bit awkward, but he loves that part about her. He hopes that they can go back to being friends again. Labris blushes over the embarrassing things Chrome is saying, and she accidentally calls him older brother as a result. When she realizes her mistake, she runs away as fast as possible. Chrome is satisfied that the two are closer now, but that basically ends their 5-minute training session. Sirius is surprised that Chrome was able to defeat even Labris in the match, but that isn't what surprised him the most. The movement that Chrome pulled off earlier was beyond what Sirius could have ever imagined. In fact, Sirius doubts that he could replicate that movement himself. He asks Chrome if he really is the same Chrome they know, though he allows him not to answer that question if he doesn't want to. However, on one condition. He wants Chrome to fight him at full power. Sirius's pride as a sword master demands it. Sirius draws his sword, and he demands that Chrome show him his true power. Chrome has never let out his true power in a sparring match with him before. When the match begins, Sirius closes the distance in an instant, prompting Chrome to jump back. Despite the 100 years of experience Chrome has over Sirius, he is forced to triple the speed of time around himself just to get away. Sirius lowers his blade for a moment, impressed with Chrome's movements. He has already discerned that Chrome is using some sort of time magic to speed up his movements, as opposed to the physical strengthening magic that he claimed to have earlier. Chrome's admiration and respect for Sirius grow again. It is just as he says. Chrome isn't influencing speed, but time. Sirius gets, well, Sirius. He pumps himself up with 7 boost, heightening his physical abilities to their near extremes. Chrome is forced to quadruple the speed of time to block his attack, but even so, the force of the blow rocks him to his core. Incredibly, Sirius is able to keep up with him, even through these intense exchanges. Chrome fully understands that even with all his bonuses, Sirius still outclasses him with the sword. Everything about Sirius seems superhuman. His reaction time, judgment, and mastery over his swordsmanship. Chrome has no choice but to use the last tool at his disposal. He slams on the gas pedal, going all the way to the peak of his time magic. Last boost. In a fraction of a second, Chrome appears behind Sirius, with his sword pointed at his back. Sirius raises his arms and admits defeat. Chrome has truly become strong. While Sirius doesn't know how Chrome became so strong overnight, he won't press him for an answer, even though he probably should. Sirius recognizes that he could feel Chrome's whole life story through clashing blades with him. He knows the struggles he has endured. Sirius places his hand on Chrome's shoulder, expressing how proud he is to have a student like him. However, with the way their duel went, Sirius has nothing more to teach him, but he offers to help him whenever he needs it. Later that afternoon, Chrome reflects on his duel with Sirius. Sensing that the time is near, he stands up and heads outside. Rena notices him going out, and he says that he's going out for a walk. Before he leaves, he asks her if he can have one of her magic pills and a scrap of magic stone. Rena doesn't mind, since she was going to throw them out anyway. She asks him if he's seen Ellie around anywhere, and he chalks up her absence to her usual wanderlust. Chrome has a good idea of where she went. Rena starts grinning uncontrollably. She, too, has likely figured out where Ellie has run off to. She tells Chrome to bring her back when he finds her, and it's perfectly fine if they're out a bit late. Chrome is confused, but Rena tells her not to worry about it. Sirius catches him just as he is about to head out. When he learns that he's off to meet Ellie, he, too, starts grinning uncontrollably like his wife. It hasn't clicked in Chrome's head that something might be up, but he does remember this being his last conversation with them during his previous life. Before he leaves for good, Chrome turns around, bows, and thanks them both for raising him all this time. He can't express enough how grateful he is to them. Sirius and Rena are surprised that Chrome was all sentimental all of a sudden, and Chrome remarks that he just felt like saying it. Rena asks Chrome if he is coming back, but she quickly withdraws that statement. Of course he is. He'll come back with Ellie as fast as possible. Chrome travels to the nearby town, passing by kids playing in the fields. He arrives at a field of flowers where he used to play with Ellie and Labrys. Due to this flower field and the rolling hills, the nearby town was named Armana, the town of flowers. It was here that he met Ellie for the last time in his previous life, and from here, the great calamity begins. Ellie calls out to Chrome. It's rare for her to see him here. He says that he was looking for her since it is almost time for dinner. He asks her what she's doing all the way out here, but she isn't sure herself. She finds it strange, but sometimes she gets the feeling that she has to go. Chrome has just been echoing the words he said long ago, but he already knows what Ellie is about to say. Ellie says she has to go to where the Demon King is. Ellie reveals that she is the hero destined to battle the Demon King, born to save the world. A prophet or a seer came by a few years ago to tell her this. Ellie notices that Chrome doesn't seem surprised at all, but he shakes his head and insists that he is. At least he was surprised. During this previous instance, Chrome reacted with surprise, just as Ellie expected him to. Ellie can't quite believe it herself, but she has been chosen. For the sake of the world, she must lay down her life to battle the Demon King that has arisen in a faraway land. But before she leaves on this journey, she has to tell him something important. Back in Chrome's current time, Ellie repeats these same words. She has something very important to tell him. Chrome braces himself. It's about to come. Before she can utter the words, the ground beneath them trembles. Only Chrome stands still, as though nothing is happening. On this year and day in the kingdom of Historia, the great labyrinth of Armana revealed itself, spewing forth the hordes of the underworld. Among them is the Demon King. A stampede of horrors marches toward Armana. Ellie sees a pillar of light in the distance, heralding their arrival. On this day, 671 people will die, and the town will have a single survivor. The calamity begins. When Ellie sees the monsters approaching the town, she is duty-bound to defend it. Chrome begs her not to, pointing out that Sirius can fight in her stead. However, Ellie is still a hero, inexperienced as she is. She tells Chrome to stay put while she goes forth to fulfill her destiny. Meanwhile, word spreads fast at Armana that monsters are approaching their town. There is nowhere for them to hide, and panic begins to set in. Sirius takes charge and reassures them that he will face the monsters before they reach the town, and he asks for any able-bodied warriors to join him. Immediately, the townspeople act. Weapons are passed around as a brave militia forms. Sirius charges to the front line and cuts down a demon that has made it dangerously close to the town walls. Eventually, the horde arrives, and Sirius throws himself into a desperate battle. When Ellie arrives at Armana, much of it is already in ruins. She sees her father struggling in street-to-street fighting against demons, and she watches in horror as a demon attacks him from behind. Sirius is thrown against a wall, and in her grief, Ellie rushes into battle with her sword. Sirius struggles to open one of his eyes, and he sees Ellie battling the demons on her own. Though she is a hero, he knows that it is too early for her to battle so many enemies. The longer the battle drags on, the worse their position becomes. Ellie takes a stand here to defend the town and everyone in it, especially Chrome. From her blind spot, a demon punches her in the arm, breaking it. Before it can do more damage, Sirius stands back up and kills it. He looks around the town and is horrified to see how much damage has been done. Not enough time has passed for everyone to evacuate yet, but the demons just keep coming. Townspeople begin to die around him, one by one. Even so, father and daughter continue struggling valiantly against overwhelming odds. As Ellie stumbles away from a demon she just barely slayed, another demon opens its gaping jaw wide to unleash a powerful blast. By the time Chrome arrived at Armana, it was too late. Everyone was dead, and he was the only survivor. But that was a time before Chrome could do anything. This time is different. Back in Chrome's time, Chrome grabs Ellie's hand and tells her that she doesn't have to be a hero if she doesn't want to. When she asks who will stand and fight for the town, Chrome volunteers himself. He'll protect everyone from now on. Chrome clenches his fist, and before Ellie can grab his hand, he speeds toward the city as fast as he can. Today was a good day for Chrome. He was able to see Ellie, spend time with Sirius and Riene, and make up with Labrys. He bites on the magic stone that he got from Rena earlier. With this mana crystal as a magic source, he can pump up his magic to even greater heights without tiring. His speed goes up 7 levels. Meanwhile, as the effects of the earthquake hit Armana, Sirius rushes downstairs, where Rena and Labrys are, to see if they are okay. He warns them that a horde of monsters is approaching the town, and that he intends to meet them head-on as soon as he gathers his equipment. Ignoring his warnings, Labrys heads out on her own to find Chrome and Ellie. As she runs through the main street, she passes by panicked townspeople running away as fast as they can. Chrome zips right past the town, and reaches the horde of monsters before they're anywhere near Armana. He's made it before anyone else has. He boosts himself with the highest level of time magic at his disposal, and he goes around killing the demons one by one. When he resumes time at normal speeds, all the demons explode like they were hit by a truck. 100 years have passed, but Chrome hasn't and will never forget his sworn enemy, the first Demon King, the origin dragon Verberos. In Chrome's first life, Verberos was the one responsible for killing Ellie. This time, it's the other way around. Verberos glares at the puny Chrome. He senses that Chrome is using some sort of magic he's never seen before and asks him if he's the hero. Chrome replies that he's no hero, just the friend of the hero. Verberos laughs. A human who isn't even a hero dares to challenge him. This has to be a joke somehow. Verberos looks around to see if there are any cameras around. Chrome, however, is dead serious. He plans to end Verberos and his ilk right here and now. Verberos cannot excuse such impudence. The punishment for such arrogance is death. He is the Demon King, destined to reign over all demons. He has conquered every magic known to man, which he will use in full force against him now. Verberos unleashes his Breath Blast attack, leveling the entire area around Chrome. Confident that the human has been defeated in a single attack, Verberos celebrates. He celebrates too early. Chrome is unharmed. Verberos' eyes nearly pop out of his socket. It should be impossible for any human, much less someone as weak as Chrome, to take his attack head-on. Chrome apologizes to the Demon King. He's already taken the liberty of coming up with countermeasures. Angered, Verberos tries the same attack again, but Chrome reveals the trick he used. He uses Zhanya's hourglass to keep himself locked in a state of temporary stasis. The blast hits him, but an attack can't affect anything in stasis. It is the ultimate defense. When Verberos sees that Chrome is still unharmed, he is sure that he's hacking somehow. It can't be real. Chrome tosses a small seed underneath Verberos, and using time magic, he instantly causes it to sprout into a mighty ancient tree that not even the vaunted Demon King can break out of. Out of frustration, Verberos fires another blast of energy at Chrome, but just like before, nothing happens. Chrome speaks about the future that was meant to arrive with Verberos' birth. Verberos was meant to kill Ellie and destroy the town of Armana as a footnote on his path to destroy the world, signaling the beginning of the calamity. That was the canon event, but Chrome is here to shake it up. That's not the kind of future that he can accept. Verberos fires another blast, refusing to accept that Chrome could possibly be stronger than him. Chrome decides that he's done enough showing off. It's time to finish this. Using the abundance of mana caused by Verberos' breath attacks, Chrome gathers it to fuel one of his own spells. Chrome's body is a pitiful vessel that contains 0 mana, but as a result, he is able to gather mana from his surroundings. When Verberos sees Chrome's power increasing at a rapid pace, he has a Phoenix Wright villain breakdown. There were no records or clues on how to defeat Verberos in the distant past. Humanity wasn't able to defeat him until the very end, when it was far too late. But Chrome has figured something out. He casts time acceleration on the Demon King because no living being can ever outlast time. Verberos' body starts rapidly aging, and his claws are the first to crumble into stone. Verberos realizes too late that Chrome commands time itself. Even Verberos, a demon king, can't imagine what kind of taboos and sins Chrome committed to be able to harness that power. But dead men tell no tales, and Verberos' body crumbles unceremoniously to the ground. The first demon king has been defeated. Chrome returns to Armana, where the townspeople are still in an uproar over the alleged monster stampede heading their way. Chrome shows signs of mortality, as even someone of his caliber feels exhausted after using that much magic in such a short amount of time. Ellie spots Chrome and locks him in an embrace. She was worried about him. As she flails her arms, reenacting what she saw Chrome doing, it sinks into Chrome that he has succeeded. Ellie, who should be dead, is still alive. He has changed history. When Ellie asks him where he went and what he did, he replies that he came here from 100 years in the future to reform the world. Ellie thinks he's joking around, and she starts flailing her arms at him. It is a peaceful time, and it is a time that Chrome intends to protect with his life. He asks Ellie about what she was going to say at the Field of Flowers, but she tells him that she'll talk about it another time. Chrome and Ellie return home unharmed, to Sirius and Rene's great relief. Rena welcomes them home after making sure that they aren't hurt. She is especially glad to see Chrome back safe and sound. Chrome announces that he is home, and he joins his family inside for dinner. Sirius asks Chrome if he ran into Labrys while he was out, explaining that she was supposed to give him a birthday present. Ellie is surprised that he was able to make up with Labrys, since she's been giving them the cold shoulder all this time. In Chrome's past life, Labrys was in the city when Verberos and his forces first attacked, which is why she was able to survive. This is just one of the consequences of Chrome making up with her. He agrees to meet Labrys tomorrow to receive her present. However, Sirius's mind is still dwelling on the strange incident today. There were reports of monsters and rumors of a mysterious hero defeating the Horde. He asks Chrome if he knows anything about this, but Chrome feigns ignorance. He sees no reason to reveal himself now. Rena tells them to stop talking about the stampede and start having dinner. Chrome falls into bed, exhausted from the ordeal, even though he was pretending as though he was fine. Chrome pulls himself out of bed, observing that his magic circuits were damaged during the battle. However, this won't stop him from performing relatively low-power spells. He casts Time Stop on the house's walls, rendering it impervious to attacks. Though Chrome has defeated Verberos, the Origin Dragon was just the first of many Demon Kings to come. Soon, the second Demon King will be born. The repeated birth of Demon Kings isn't just a coincidence for Chrome. With how quickly the world is revolving around magic, the Mage Association is the foremost authority in the world, even more so than kingdoms. They possess unparalleled power, kept in place through shady, unmagic methods such as assassination, kidnapping, and torture. In his past life, Chrome climbed through the ranks of the Magic Association and became a top executive, eventually discovering that the birth of Demon Kings was not a natural occurrence but an artificial series of events put into motion by the Mage Association. The next morning, over breakfast, Sirius informs his family that he has been recalled to the capital regarding the stampede incident. He'd also like to launch a full investigation regarding this matter using a survey team. Chrome suggests that they field adventurers instead since the matter is urgent, but since this town and area are painfully underpowered in terms of adventurers, a survey team is his next best choice. Since he believes that the stampede was a man-made event, he doesn't want to risk the lives of inexperienced adventurers. Once again, Chrome is blown away by Sirius's insight. He muses that if Sirius were alive in his previous life, the future may have played out a little differently. Rena hopes that Sirius doesn't do anything reckless since he isn't as young as he used to be, but he promises to return as soon as possible. However, if anything happens, he tells them to contact the Scarlet family at the capital, and he asks Chrome to protect the family and the town while he's gone. Meanwhile, Labrys is curled up in her bed after she failed to give Chrome his gift. The previous day, when Labrys rushed into battle after reports of an impending stampede, she was disturbed to see piles of dead demons. She continues moving forward, but she is rendered immobile due to a thick smog. Through her blurry vision, she is able to make out the figures of a large dragon and a lone man. After bearing witness to their battle, Labrys understands that the dragon must be on the level of a demon king, or maybe the demon king himself. But the man is even more terrifying because he was able to defeat the dragon in an instant. Labrys fears that this man may be an enemy, but her body won't move. As she slips into unconsciousness, she catches a glimpse of the man's face, and she realizes that it was Chrome all along. Back in the present, Labrys debates with herself over the man's identity and if it really was Chrome. Chrome performs his daily training exercises, but his body still isn't in top form. He feels unprepared to face any truly powerful enemies right now, and though he'd like to go into a dungeon to exercise some more, he decides that it isn't worth the risk. The second Demon King will be born in about a week. Glancing at his sword, he notices Labrys's reflection hiding behind a tree. He returns to the house, prompting Labrys to chase after him. Chrome surprises her and pins her against the wall. Chrome asks her what she's here for, and she mentions something about yesterday. Chrome remembers that she was supposed to give him a birthday present, and though that wasn't exactly on her mind, she hands it over anyway. Chrome wasn't expecting her to give him a present, and he takes this to mean that they're friends again. Labrys frowns. She promised to be friends with him, as per the terms of their spar. That's why she unwillingly gave him a present, which is revealed to be a bag of cookies that she begrudgingly baked with love. She didn't make them herself on purpose or anything. Chrome thanks her for the gift and pats her on the head, blissfully unaware of its effects on Labrys. When Ellie catches them behind the house, she runs up to them and expresses how glad she is that they've made up. Any longer, and she would have seen them making out instead. Ellie enthusiastically shakes Labrys's hand, excited that the three of them can be friends again. She invites them all to hang out right now, ignoring that Labrys has other business to attend to. They head into Armana, and Ellie immediately runs toward the direction of a monster meat buffet. Thanks to Chrome taking care of the stampede, the town has been blessed with a sudden surplus of monster meat and, more importantly, dragon meat. Labrys groans that she was worried for nothing. Chrome approaches a shopkeeper and asks him if anything unusual happened, more specifically, if someone from Mage Association popped up. The shopkeeper does remember someone from the association snooping around and investigating the rumors of the mysterious hero. A bounty has been placed on this hero's head. Chrome grimaces. The association is moving faster than he thought. The shopkeeper shares a rumor that when a mage exhibits extraordinary ability, the association makes it a point to target and kidnap them. Chrome suspects that the association plans to dissect him to figure out how his magic works. He notices Labrys lost in thought, but when he asks her what's wrong, she shrugs him off. Chrome looks in the direction Labrys was looking and spots a child who has tripped and injured her knee. Labrys has a soft spot after all. Chrome walks up to the child, who complains that her knee won't stop bleeding. She recognizes him as the loser Chrome, but he doesn't let it get to him. He places his hand over the girl's knee and casts a small-scale time rewind, restoring it to its proper state. The girl thanks him, and she happily runs home. Labrys, however, has a mountain of questions for Chrome. First and foremost, what was that spell he used? Chrome isn't supposed to know any magic. Chrome tries to pass off what he just did as healing magic, but as far as Labrys knows, Chrome doesn't have the capacity and aptitude for healing magic, so it must be something else. Healing magic, at its core, is difficult and rare. Even then, it is impossible to erase a scar completely, like Chrome did. Chrome realizes that he messed up. He had forgotten that healing magic isn't as advanced as it was 100 years in the future. Ellie finds them again and shows off a trouble list, a list of problems the locals are experiencing as a result of yesterday's stampede. There are a lot of people in need due to the damage caused by the earthquake, so she wants to help as many people as possible. Chrome and Labrys spend the day helping Ellie lend assistance to the locals. Ellie thanks Labrys for joining them, especially since it's been so long since the three of them hung out together. She hopes that the three of them can continue spending more time like this again. With the sun setting, they advise Labrys to get home before it gets dark. But unbeknownst to them, the Mage Association is skulking about, keeping a close eye on the three of them. Labrys heads home, and though she was unable to ask Chrome about his possible connection with yesterday's stampede, she brushes it aside. What's important is that she had fun today. Unfortunately for her, she's about to not have a lot of fun. The Mage Association traps her in a circle of magic, and they surround her. She asks them who they are and what they want with her, and they tell her not to be afraid. They're the biblically accurate Mage Association, and they just want to ask some questions. Labrys asks them again what they want with her, and again, the Mage Association stresses that they only want to ask her some questions. They ask if she was the mysterious hero who defeated the monster stampede the day before, and she tells them that they're mistaking her for a different person. Unfortunately, this isn't good enough for them. The man reckons that humans are very good at lying, but at the same time, they aren't good at discerning what is a lie and what is truth. However, there is a way to guarantee that what the other person is saying is the truth. Labrys asks them what they mean by that, and the man replies that it is easier to discern the truth once something is broken down first. Immediately, Labrys draws her swords and augments her body with a body-strengthening spell. She faces multiple mages at once, but she knows that she has the advantage in single combat. She aims to take them out one at a time, but one of the mages casts a body-strengthening spell a tier higher than hers, and they easily pummel her into submission. Labrys gets a glimpse of their first-class mage emblems, meaning that she was trying to fight an elite set of mages. 8 of them are surrounding her, and it usually never ends well for the girl. The man places his hand over her face and casts a sleeping spell, lulling her into a deep slumber. The last thing Labrys thinks of is Chrome. One of the mages asks what they should do with Labrys, and they ultimately decide to take her captive. She has potential to be a candidate to reach demon kinghood. Later, a small detachment of mages pay a visit to a house after hearing rumors that the mysterious hero and another female hero resides there. One of them casts a soundproofing spell over the house, ensuring that their activities are silenced. They want to take care of this matter quickly and quietly, but one of the mages, a hot-headed man named Hughes, is bored to death. He doesn't see any reason why they should be careful, believing that their overwhelming magical power should be enough to steamroll over any opponent they come up against. Ignoring the plan, he begins casting a powerful fire-based spell to burn the whole house to the ground and flush out the mysterious hero. However, as he sticks out his wand, his magical spell fizzles into nothingness. Hughes wonders if he messed up the spell somehow, but he knows that he never does. A voice suddenly asks him what his objective is in coming to this house. Hughes whips his head around and sees Chrome, his face concealed by a large hood. Chrome identifies him as a member of the Mage Association. How convenient. He saved him the trouble of finding him. Chrome has heard that Labrys hasn't returned home yet, and he has an inkling feeling that it's because of the bozos from the Mage Association. Hughes cautiously backs off, worried that Chrome's magic overpowers his, but he senses no magic coming from him. Remembering that there was a servant of the Moonheart family without any magic, Hughes concludes that the man before him must be that person. Hughes regains his bravado and taunts Chrome for standing before him as weak as he is. Chrome asks him if he and the others really are first-class mages, and Hughes continues his tirade by mocking the look of despair on Labrys's face when they kidnapped her earlier. Chrome demands to know what they'd done with Labrys, and Hughes replies that she very well might be dead right now. Translated from the villain language, that means that she's still alive somehow. Knowing that makes no difference, Hughes claims, since Chrome will be dead anyway. Hughes casts a 6-tier magic spell, only for it to be cancelled out by Chrome's time magic. But he doesn't know that. Chrome belittles the caliber of first-class mages these days, and Hughes finally realizes that he was the one who cancelled out his spell. To further cripple Hughes' ability to cast magic, Chrome rapidly ages his wooden wand, causing it to disintegrate. Hughes turns to his associates for help, but Chrome had already dealt with them minutes before. Hughes tries to figure out how this could happen to first-class mages like himself and his companions. He breaks into a cold sweat as he realizes that Chrome is far, far above them. Chrome reassures Hughes that he won't kill him. Disposing of bodies is troublesome and expensive. Instead, he's going to destroy his magic circuits. Hughes calls his bluff at first, but realizes that if anyone can do it, it's Chrome. Hughes begs for mercy. He doesn't want to live without magic. Chrome thanks him for setting up the soundproof barrier earlier. He won't have to worry about his screams leaking out. Hughes frantically begs Chrome to at least kill him so he can die a mage, but Chrome's pretty much already made up his mind. No magic for you. Chrome returns to Ellie, who asks him if he's found Labrys. He replies that she's already left town, but he met a friendly person who saw where she went. He's going to head out again and find her. Ellie asks him if he's going to go somewhere dangerous, which catches him off guard. Ellie can tell that Chrome is about to go out and fight again, and she says that she can fight by his side. She doesn't want to sit idly by while he risks life and limb again. Chrome knows that Ellie is strong, given that she is a hero's vessel. However, he doesn't want her to go out now. He tells her that where he's going isn't dangerous, and he asks her to be a good girl and wait. Ellie reluctantly agrees to let Chrome go, promising to stay awake until he and Labrys return. Chrome heads out, ready to do battle with the Mage Association. Based on what Hughes said earlier, it is safe to say that she's still alive. She was most likely taken to their secret base, and it just so happens that Chrome already researched its whereabouts in his previous life. Their hideout lies within Armana's underground labyrinth. This is the origin point of the Great Calamity, where mages work tirelessly to bring about the 4th Demon Lord. Labrys was most likely kidnapped as a guinea pig to progress their research, and if his hunch is right, they plan to make Labrys a vessel for a Demon Lord. Chrome can no longer guarantee that Labrys will be unharmed, but as long as she's alive, that's good enough for him. Chrome shows up at the Mage Association's secret base, and the sentries mistake him for a lost child. Chrome stops time, incapacitates them, and continues on his merry way. He isn't here to play nice. He'll make the association pay dearly for what they've done. Arima's underground labyrinth is a low-level dungeon consisting of just 12 floors. Chrome expects Labrys to be held at the very depths of the dungeon. As expected, there are traps set all over, but it doesn't matter to someone who can tap into the speed force. Chrome augments himself with a powerful haste spell, and he zooms right through all the traps. They all trigger, but none of them are fast enough to hit him. Mages guarding the area think that the spelled traps have gone haywire, but when they see Chrome, they realize that they are under attack. A small battalion of mages assembles to stop his advance, but they can't do anything against someone who can literally pause the game. Chrome disintegrates their wands, stops time, and slips right past them. With the first floor cleared, Chrome estimates that he'll reach the dungeon depths within 20 minutes. He advances into the second floor, where he encounters a large troop of monsters, including a dangerous chimera. Such powerful creatures shouldn't be in a low-level dungeon like this, but its existence is the byproduct of the Demon Lord's birth. Chrome understands now why the association set its sights on Labrys. In his previous life, she was the Demon Lord and Princess of Purgation Scarlet. He already killed her once before. He doesn't want to have to kill her again. Nearby mages notice Chrome, and they hasten to set up a defense. No matter how quickly they react, they are helpless before Chrome's time magic. And those gorgeous blue eyes of his. Chrome stops time and breaks through their formations. They don't realize it yet, but they're already dead. As the mages see their companions blow up one after the other, they realize that they're up against a real threat. A mage alerts Master 6 that an intruder has shown up. 6 is laid back and rather relaxed. He's quite confident that the various magic defense systems they have in place can deal with any intruder, not to mention the third class and higher mages they have deployed as guards. The mage hates to tell him that the intruder has already reached the 7th floor, and they've been unable to contact any of their guards past that point. Not to mention, there's only one intruder. 6 is in abject disbelief. A single man has dismantled their magic defenses and blazed past their mages and monsters. 6 concludes that whoever is attacking them must be the hero, and that Hughes must have run into them. This complicates 6's plans. He considers delaying everything and throwing everything they have to stop the hero, but a man named Rain steps forward from the shadows, volunteering to personally handle the so-called hero.